Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we enter these last few nights of Ramadan, I find myself thinking about the phases of this sacred month. We begin Ramadan by seeking God's mercy. And then we enter into a phase where we're ardently seeking God's forgiveness and pardon for those things that we have done that have taken away from our humanity. And finally, in these last 10 nights, in our prayers and in our devotions, we ardently seek liberation and freedom from the hellfire. We seek liberation and freedom from an eternal state which would take us away from the beautiful, noble, and majestic presence of God. But I think to myself, there is a liberation which is eternal, and there is a freedom which is eternal. But there's a manifestation of that liberation and freedom that is in the now, that is in the present, and that is in our own lives. As much as we seek liberation from eternal distance from God, we also in these last 10 nights seek liberation from the hellfires that we as human beings are going through. The hellfire of violence, the hellfire of experiencing hatred, the hellfire of poverty and marginalization, the hellfire of oppression. The liberation and freedom we ask of God in these last 10 nights of Ramadan is also liberation from those conditions that human beings are placed in that challenge us and challenge our relationship with the divine. So as the month of Ramadan closes, I find myself asking a very specific prayer. In the same way that we appeal to God to be granted God's mercy, I ask Allah, I ask God that we may be a means of bringing mercy to the world. In the same way as we ask God for God's forgiveness, I also ask God to make us a means for spreading forgiveness now, for making us a means of rectifying the hearts of people, for removing from us ill thoughts towards others, to remove from ourselves jealousies and anger and the frustration that we might have with other human beings, and for us to be individuals who bring hearts together. And I also ask God in these last 10 nights of Ramadan to make us a means by which people may be free and liberated from the fires of violence and oppression, that people may be free from the violence of structures of power and systems of economic organization that marginalize them and that exploit them. That we ask God that while we have life and while we have capacity, that we may be a means by which people may experience freedom, by which we may experience freedom and liberation now, so that we have a taste of the great freedom and the great liberation that is to come in the eternal life. Ramadan is not merely a time where we think about the world to come. It is also a time where we train ourselves to be in the world as it is now. Ramadan gives us an opportunity to train in this intense spiritual dojo, and God knows in this time of quarantine and pandemic how intense that dojo has been at times. But in this spiritual dojo, we are training ourselves to be in the world. And to be in the world is to live mercifully, is to be forgiving and seek forgiveness. But it also is to be a means of liberation and true freedom for others. May God grant us the ability to be a means for all of these things, and for us to be those individuals who do not leave Ramadan except that we are more committed than ever to seek justice and mercy for all in the world which God has created. I pray that your last nights of Ramadan are full of blessing, joy, family, prayer, and of great openings of the spiritual kind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.